Hello, dear friends. How our beliefs are being created in our subconscious mind and how they still influence our experiences and our behavior in life. During the first 7 years of our life, our brain is functioning in the theta mode. This means that we are not conscious about our experiences, but we just unconsciously, or our subconscious mind is downloading programs and experiences from our environment, which in the first 7 years, usually these are our parents and our siblings and relatives, friends, and so on. So because we are not conscious enough about these experiences and we kind of only copy certain behaviors of our parents, certain beliefs, certain words that they're using, and very much of their attitudes and perspectives of life, we are actually soaking them up without really being aware about it. But also different life experiences can make us to subconsciously not believe in ourselves, to subconsciously create certain beliefs that are limiting for us. For example, if our parents during this period were criticizing us, blaming us for something, then we have felt guilty for certain things. And very often this can also include feeling of not being worthy. If the parent or somebody in our environment is somehow delivering this message that we are not good enough, when something happens in the house, for example, I was always taking the blame, even though I was not having the guilt always, but as a smallest child in the house, I was very often accused that I did some things. And this is how, for example, the feeling of unworthiness or feeling of guilt, of shame is created into our subconsciousness. And there are many possibilities how these limiting beliefs can be created due to repetitive experiences of this kind. And very often these beliefs, like I said, they are subconscious. We are not aware about this because we are, especially in these first 7 years, we are not able to consciously see. And also, very often, there are also other reasons why. For example, we are having high altruistic purpose. We have a high feeling of altruism. It is in the core of our nature to be altruistic, especially towards our family. And by being altruistic, very often we feel that we are having the blame, or that something's wrong with us, that it is our fault for many things, which actually shows that we think we count ourselves responsible for many attitudes of our parents and siblings. For example, experiences where our parents or our sisters, brothers did not feel good and something was going on with them, so they kind of blamed others for this, or they were unhappy, so we were simply feeling responsible for their unhappiness, although it wasn't anything to feel guilty about from our side. So we kind of take on the responsibility for certain behaviors and attitudes that we didn't like or that we felt that are kind of unpleasant. Whatever was unpleasant in our environment, whatever was going on with our parents and siblings, we very often took the responsibility for this subconsciously in order to protect our parents and our siblings. False beliefs can also be created or enhanced later in life as well, during our education. For example, if some professor has offended us, or our classmates, our friends. And very often different experiences will cause different effects at different people. And this is very interesting because each person has a certain soul experiences, so experiences that we need to have in this certain life that are predetermined by our soul or our fate. Each person is on a certain soul development, and based on this we also gain specific kind of experiences that we need to have in this specific life. These beliefs, which are actually on a mental level, right, they are always connected to certain emotion, and they are related to certain limiting belief. They create emotional burden in our body. So very often we may feel anxious or worried or unpleasant, unable to achieve something, and we don't really know why. We don't know why we continuously kind of sabotage ourselves. And this self-sabotaging is actually coming exactly because of these reasons. Because there are stuck emotions in our nervous system that are limiting us, that are weighting on our shoulders and are not letting us experience the joy of life in its fullness. And emotions are actually our GPS navigation to show us if we are following our purpose or not. So when we tune into our emotions regarding certain things or beliefs, if we feel pleasant, then it's working in a good direction. And if we don't feel pleasant about certain belief or certain opinion, then there's something that needs to be switched into something more positive. Because our core nature is unconditional love. And by working on our beliefs, we actually are coming to the core of our nature, to realize that if we don't truly, genuinely love ourselves, we cannot love others as well. We cannot love the life. We cannot enjoy life. We cannot be free in our heart. So this is how false beliefs are being created. False beliefs in a sense: I'm not good enough, I'm not lovable, I'm not worthy, I'm not important, I'm not appreciated, I'm not deserving anything, I'm whatever we are. There are plenty of things that go into our subconscious mind. And then what happens, due to the law of attraction, which states that like attracts alike, if I subconsciously think that I'm not lovable and I'm not worthy, then we will attract experiences that will confirm this belief of ours. For example, this will be implicated in our everyday experiences, in our relationships as well, in our work, in whatever activities we do, in studies. For example, if our parents were constantly criticizing us, then this may influence us that when we later in life, for example, go to college or university, we kind of start procrastinating, we start having anxiety, disbelieving in ourselves, and we don't understand why we don't have the power to go through this life experience. And part of the reason is actually that we have a subconscious belief that we are not good enough and that we cannot go through this life experience because we probably don't deserve it, or we are simply not worthy of this experience of passing an exam or passing a year or whatever. Another thing is also that it can very much be replicated in our relationships as well. So if we did not feel lovable, if we did not feel worthy or important by our parents, we also may attract relationships that are confirming this experience for us. And this is why it's very important to become aware about these beliefs and bring them to the surface, to the conscious mind, so that they can be acknowledged and they can be replaced to something positive. Because if we're not able to appreciate ourselves, if we're not able to love ourselves first, which is what kind of frequency we emit in our environment, that means that nobody else can love us or count us as worthy or valuable or important, because we, in first place, don't count ourselves as valuable, important, or lovable. So this is why it's very important that these beliefs come from us, genuinely from us. The problem is that they are all in our subconscious mind. We are not completely aware, but we can start questioning, we can start thinking about it, or think about what kind of things our parents used to say to us when we were children. And we kind of can start digging using different methods. I use, for example, astropsychology to find out about certain experiences or limiting beliefs, and also the EFT tapping method, which I use as well for working on this. And it's very powerful technique in order to replace our limiting beliefs with some positive beliefs. And this is very important step in changing our mind in order to become lighter, to start feeling more joyful, to start believing ourselves, to feel security deep down inside of us, no matter what is going on in our environment, to be able to feel that we have the control in our life, which is actually the only thing that we can control in our life is our reactions. If we can control our reactions, then we have really mastered our mind. And then we are the one who is running the show and not the subconscious mind who is actually running the show until we become aware about our false beliefs. So when we have certain experiences in our life, for example, as I said, that are confirming our subconscious beliefs of not being valued, good enough, lovable, and so on, our subconscious mind is saying to us, come on, you need to work on this. This is what is actually wanting to come to the surface, right? And very often we are actually projecting our subconscious mind. The things from our subconsciousness are being reflected in our environment. So when we are often noticing something in somebody or in our environment, something that we don't like or something that is criticizing others, it's very much an indication that we also have this part inside of us, but we haven't really acknowledged it yet. So if I criticize somebody about being in some certain way, I probably can also be sometimes in this way. And the truth is that we all have our dual nature. If something in our environment is endangering our survival or our being, which is actually completely normal that we become angry or put our boundaries if we see danger in the environment. This is completely normal to subconsciously respond in this way. And we all have dual nature, right? The point is only to choose consciously how we want to react, how we want to think about certain situation. And this is the power that we have. No other species on this planet have the right to choose. I hope you liked this video, and thank you so much for liking it and subscribing to my channel, and much love to everybody.